an area of Vancouver that is just like this little oasis. It's this little like forest. And it's so cute that right now, as I speak, there are little rabbits. There are just rabbits. Like, I've seen 4 of them, just like right in my little spot here. I'd like point them out to you, but I know I'll spook them, so I will just get on with my book talk. I use this for this particular book, How to Disappear Completely by Standish, because that book is like so magical that you must stop everything. You must clear your schedule today and find the book and read it. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. You will love it. Look at that cover. It's just magical, and what is inside is magical, and it's just so fantastic. So let's get into it. When Emma's Graham dies, when she passes away, Emma feels like she has lost part of her as well, part of her own self, because they were like best friends. And while she's at Graham's funeral, she looks down at her foot and she notices a patch, a white patch. She's pretty freaked out about what this is, but she doesn't tell anybody. She doesn't talk about it. In the first chapters, you learn that Graham has passed away, and you learn that Emma has vitiligo. Graham brings the magic wherever she's going, wherever she goes. She's just one of those people who ignited Emma's imagination and just made everything every day better. Now, with Graham gone, the magic is replaced by the reality of bullies in a new school, and Emma notices a spot, like a tiny bright moon on her left foot. Emma has a condition called vitiligo, which means that she has patches of skin that lose their color. About 1 in 100 people have this, and there's no cure for it. It's an autoimmune disorder. It can be genetic. She feels like she's fading away, just like the memories, just like the old house. So within a few pages, definitely some sad vibes, you learn about Graham and you learn about vitiligo. But when Emma writes one last story in the journal that she shared with Graham, something very strange happens. Someone writes back. Someone writes back, just like Graham used to do. Who is writing to Emma? But all that's packed up in all those pages. So the bonus is there's a story within the story that's kind of like a parallel between the two, which is really interesting to see unfold. But I can't really tell you too much about it, except that there is a big element of sort of magical realism to it and fantasy. So I found it just like really delightful. You know when that part of the story is being told because it's written in italics. In that part of the story, there's dormice and there's foxes and there's magical creatures and fairies and gnomes. And that's because Emma and her Graham shared another really, really powerful thing, which is the power of story. And someone else, a stranger, seems to be picking up where they left off. So what happens next? Well, you're going to have to read this like absolute gem of a story and find out. How to Disappear Completely is a story that shows us how to shine bright even when we feel like we're not seen or like we're disappearing. Magical bonus number 2. Well, it's set in that time which I feel is like a really magical time, like that time between fall and winter when, you know, themes of magic are everywhere. This book really is a special story to read around, you know, fall, winter. Holidays are just on the horizon, but I don't want you to wait to get bookish with this. You could always give it as a gift. Some surprises. I loved the older sister, Lily, who I didn't think I would love, but I loved. She notices the outsides of people. She seemed like she was going to be one thing, and then she became a perfectly interesting character in her own right. And then there's Emma's new best friend and confidant, Fina, which I mentioned, who is like the awesomest friend ever. I wish you all a friend like Fina. There's really sweet, interesting characters throughout this story and some really lovely twists. I give this book like all the stars, all the stars. And again, I say I'm surprised everybody isn't talking about it. So let's talk about some books that share similar themes, like coping with loss and finding oneself and, you know, embracing all that is you and uniquely you. If you like these books and haven't read How to Disappear Completely, you know, again, you know, these are like books telling you about other books. A few recommendations, and each one of these could be a Book Nook episode all by itself. I'll have to add that to the list of things I need to do because these are all really amazing books in their own, on their own. The number one is The Thing About Jellyfish by alibenjamin. This book allows, this book follows Susie, who deals with the sudden loss of her best friend. And she embarks on a journey to understand and to cope, with her grief. Really short summary, but Deafo by CeceBell. This book is a graphic novel memoir, a comic about a young girl who navigates growing up with a hearing impairment and the challenges of fitting in and finding friendship. One of my favorites, Counting by Sevens by HollyGoldbergSloan. This novel tells the story of Willow Chance, a really just amazingly gifted girl who counts by sevens when she's stressed with the sudden loss of her adoptive parents. And, she finds joy and peace in unexpected places and people. So good. Another book is Out of My Mind by SharonDraper. That book is on Disney Plus, I think, and it's just a phenomenal book. I mean, the movie, I haven't seen the movie, so in all honesty, it's about Melody, who has cerebral palsy, and she communicates using a computer, and the story explores her struggle for acceptance and understanding and, finding her voice. Fish in a Tree is another one by LyndaMullalyHunt. This book, follows Allie, who struggles with dyslexia, and she doesn't fit in at school, and she really turns inward. With the help of a supportive teacher, she learns to embrace her strengths and overcome, her challenges. These books, like How to Disappear Completely, really take the deep dive into themes of identity and resilience, finding, your place in the world amidst monumental personal challenges. So get bookish with one or all of these books today. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. They are amazing in their own little way, and you will immediately make friends with these characters and feel like they're part of your own, part of your own world, part of you. So adults, let's talk. Adults in your life should, read a book too. So I'm going to suggest that they try Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by GailHoneyman, precisely because she isn't fine and because she's a quirky character. And for some reason, I'm getting vibes of an older version of some of these middle school characters. In Eleanor, there's a 29-year-old character who's really been through loads of traumatic things, which opens up great conversations about dealing with trauma. So adults and kids, really nice pairing here. Those adults watching this interested in mental health themes, like the book explores themes of loneliness and trauma, mental health in a really sensitive and thought-provoking way. Talk about these characters and how they cope, how they deal with things, work through these monumental challenges in front of them.